May 21, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on a 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. Looked like there was continuing from yesterday. It was a pre-market sell-off. It kind of bounced, and then it had a small shallow rally up, sell-off, another rally up, sideways consolidation. There's this really strong drop down here. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find a good trade in here. Bounce. Looks like two bigger legs down, bounce, and another leg down. So I would say it looks like it's kind of a small, so this is how I drew it up, a small two-legged rally followed by two three-leg sell-off. I did manage to take two trades, and they were both profitable. So I'm going to get into the setups right now. There was no economic data that came out to really move the markets in any particular way. So here's the sell-off. I found it on this green down channel. Hit the bottom. Go ahead and just drag this a little bit lower. Bounces. Does create a lower high right here because I did see this as a new low. First entry short, pull back, second entry short, pushes up. This break of this orange up channel has tested the high, so this is a lower high. This is in the pre-market, and I don't trade the pre-market, but I think this is a rather decent setup because you're thinking this green down channel wants to test this low. So it looks like it's a break, two attempts up, and then looks like it's going to push back down. Pushes back down, one leg, two leg, technically a third leg. Then it pushes up on this green up channel. There's a small first entry short, pullback, second entry short, and it kind of creates a duplicate, kind of a smaller version of what was happening here. Creates a lower high right here. The lower high here, I thought it's a possible trade. It's a little more aggressive. It's confirming the second entry short because it looks like a break for here. First entry short, second entry short, pushes up, then down. The problem it's aggressive trade. The problem is there's not really that much room from here down to the EMA. Right now, it could have an EMA bounce because the EMA isn't really sideways. I mean, it is still showing a bearish bias, but then it is starting to curl up. So I didn't really like that. I wanted to kind of see a lower high below the EMA in order to trust to go short. But you kind of get a first entry long, second entry long, but you don't really get a lower high. And it starts reversing back up on this red up channel. Looks like it made two legs down. I saw this and I was thinking about it at the time because it was like a first entry long pullback, second entry long. This is the signal bar for the second entry long. This isn't a good signal bar to go long off of. And this red trend line support doesn't really exist yet. It gets created once you see this bounce up. So this is the follow through trigger bar, which also isn't very convincing. So it creates a first entry long, second entry long, then it creates a higher low. Unfortunately, this is also not very convincing. But at this point, I did draw the potential red up channel, and I was playing again this overlapping yellow up channel. So it's hard to really know, which one is truly in play, because if you're playing this yellow up channel, it's still staying within it pretty nicely. Then it pushes up, it has a breakout here. There was no news that I could tell why this occurred. And it flushes down, and this actually sets up for my first trade. It was a new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short, second entry short. Now, in hindsight, this wasn't a good idea, but I was profitable, but that doesn't mean that it was a good idea or even a good trade. So first entry short, second entry short, looked like it's bounced off the EMA. Didn't mean to do that. So when it opened, it bounced and it was oscillating here for a little while. And I got it into my mind that this is a good, clean first entry short, second entry short, second entry short failure. Now, in real life, or not real life, but in actuality, this is an inside bar. So I would say this is actually a failure if this bar actually broke above this bar and not this one, because this one doesn't quite count because it's inside here. So it should be a first entry short, second entry short. Second entry short would technically fail, I think, when it gets above here. But I did have this yellow up channel drawn, and I should have taken into consideration that this is an overshoot. So it could create two legs up but create a corresponding overshoot on this downside. So it's a little premature to really jump on this trade because it's technically only a first entry long. But I took it. I was rewarded on a quick 1-point scalp. But in hindsight, this is a bad trade. As you can see, I would have survived. This candle probably would have, ensured that I got out if I didn't get out on this one, and then maybe this one, but you don't know that these are going to occur, and the probability of these occurring on a setup like this aren't very high. So this is just a better trade to have skipped, or even a setup to have skipped, because this is really kind of a no setup. Prices in, continue moving. So it's breaking through both this red up channel and this yellow up channel, which is more shallow. It's starting to push through. I drew this orange down channel. It fits better here. So it's actually a new low, first entry short pullback, second entry short, second entry short. I'm not sure if this is a possible trade or almost trade. In real time, I wasn't thinking of taking a trade because this could have also been higher up like that and didn't really fit quite well. This is adjusted a little bit later after more price action after this bar. But it was a first entry short, second entry short. The thing that's kind of a possible trade, kind of a not possible trade, or almost trade, is it is getting a rejection off the top of this orange down channel. But it looks like it's already like one leg up, pullback, second leg up, pullback, third leg up. So what is this? Like a technical second entry short, but not very clean. Plus it closed above the EMA, which isn't very convincing. Then the follow through isn't that good either. So I called it a, I'm not really sure if it's an almost trade or a possible trade, but I just didn't really like it. Pushes down. It follows this orange down channel pretty well now. That's where I kind of initially was drawn kind of higher like this, but it didn't quite fit well and it was kind of cutting through here. So then it adjusted it and became this orange down channel. Pushes down, it obeys it pretty well, bounces up, which is, it looks like it's ranging. There's a failed breakout here. Technically, you only have a first entry long here. Technically, you have a second entry long, but it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. This signal bar is kind of inside this, which I'm not too excited about. The follow through isn't that convincing either. It looks like it's topping out, hitting a resistance here. But the green up channel does need to test a high. This orange down channel has tested the low. So it looks like the down channel on this orange is played out. Green up channel still needs to test the high. Red down channel has tested the lows already. So these two have both met, the second push down to test the low. So this is going to push back up to test the high, but I wasn't too keen on it. As I said, it's an inside bar, getting close to the top of the range. I don't really want to buy out here in the middle of nowhere. Pushes up, follows this yellow up channel pretty nicely. Unfortunately, I didn't really see any good second entries to enter on this. You only have a first entry long here. Kind of hits this sideways consolidation. Looks like it's going down this green down channel. So it's actually first entry long, pull back. You technically have a tiny, tiny second entry long here and it tested the low. So I'm thinking I'm in a range. This yellow up channel has tested the high. Is it really going to come back down? I'm not sure because I'm thinking the strength of this range is pretty good, that it just might move sideways. So it pushes up. So I also saw it as a, push back in, a failed breakout. And then it sets up for my second trade. So it is bouncing off the bottom of this range. There's a failed breakout here, kind of corresponding to the failed breakout here. EMA is starting to show strength. It's a new high, first entry long. Looks like it's first entry, but it didn't really break above, so it's actually technically first entry pullback. It did break above here, but I count it as visual first, second, potential higher low, bounce off the multiple tests of this low of this range. Quickly entered, had to sit through this. It flushes up, gives me my 1 point scalp, move my stop from one tick above, one from here to one tick above my entry. And it actually pushes up here. That's where I moved it to one tick below here. And then I got stopped out. And then it kind of gets rejected off this high of the range, comes back down, pushes back up. It looks like this top of the range is holding. It's having a bullish bias now. Technically, you have a first entry. You don't have a first entry long. Visually, you have a first entry long pullback. I'm expecting a bounce off of here, but seeing as I got lucky on that first trade, and then in hindsight, this wasn't the cleanest setup either. I was kind of really wanting a very clean, deliberate, good, clean signal bar on the next one, hopefully bouncing off this low of the range to push back up to the high of the range. You kind of get that here. And the follow through wasn't that good, but then you get a higher low. It's higher low. It's actually a pretty decent signal bar because it's a new low, first entry, excuse me, visual first entry, excuse me. My counts are way off, but on the visuals, look like first entry pullback, second entry creates, it looks like a higher low, but I also saw it as a technical count. First entry, pullback, move one tick below, pushes back up. Unfortunately, it didn't push above here, this could have been a visual and technical first entry, second entry. So I thought it was actually a decent trade, but I didn't take it. By the time this one opens, closes, it's too high to the top of the range that I wasn't interested because I'd be buying into the highs. I also saw this as a new, excuse me, first entry short, pullback, second entry short, and then it creates kind of a higher low here. Again, it's pushing against the high of this trading range that I wasn't interested. But it was something I saw at the time. I had a hunch, but this hunch isn't well founded in any good setup. So my hunch needs to be more calibrated. So I didn't take the trade, but I just wondering about this time. Marked it for myself, put it in the notes. Pushes up, looks like it's two legs up. Pushes back down. Breakout of the high of the range, pushing back down. I'm wondering if it's going to push back into this range. It kind of does. So it has kind of like a failed breakout, but breakout pullback. Starts pushing down on this. Initially, it was a tighter channel, something closer to this, but it broke out and it kept going. That's where I kind of expanded it to something that looks like this. No good clean second entries. Unfortunately, I was not able to jump on this setup because this looked like it would have been a really nice trade with good runner. Keeps going down. You do have a new high, first entry long, second entry long, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I don't really like taking a long here. It's also inside to this bar. No clean justification. There's like no bounce point really here because it's just floating out here. Continues down. There's a failed breakout of this orange down channel. Continues, tests the low, but it keeps going. This new low, first entry short, pullback. You have a second entry short here, but I wanted to touch off the EMA and I wanted it to get rejected off a better fitting channel, but it didn't, so I'm leaving it alone. Plus the signal bar wasn't that great. It pulled back to the midpoint of this bar, pushes down, kind of hits a low, reverses back up. And it looks like it pushes up, moves sideways, and it pushes up again. Creates a second entry short here. Second entry short, I thought it might have been a possible trade. It looks like it was two legs up, break of the screen up channel. Looks like it made one attempt up visually. And then you could say it pulled back here, made a second attempt up. It's a good signal. This is actually the signal bar to go short on, but it wasn't that good when you see it in real time. But then the follow through trigger bar looks like it's pretty good. So I would have tried to maybe take it below this trigger bar for just quick 1 point scalp. And I had some kind of resistance line drawn here, thinking this might be part of a larger channel, but it's not confirmed here. But if you're going short, you're more concerned about this resistance line. And if you're going long, then you'd be more concerned about the support line. So the support line didn't really confirm, but the resistance did. So that would give you another potential reason to go short right here. Pushes down, breaks through, excuse me, pushes, it kind of moves sideways. As it's moving sideways, I thought it was in range, but then I drew this orange down channel. It looks like it's fitting pretty well. It's kind of shallow though. No clean second entries that I particularly liked. Pushes back up and it has a breakout through. It's also a new low. It's the first entry short, pullback, second entry short. So this second entry short's confirmed. This is actually the signal bar for the short. And I actually thought this is a possible trade because it's this orange down channel, first break. Looked like it was already two attempts up, pushes strongly down, back into this yellow down channel, back below the EMA. This big orange down channel has made two attempts up, and now it's looking like it's coming back down. So is it going to test the lows here? Was this range slightly bigger? I'm not sure. So I had it here, but I was open to the possibility due to this setup that there could be a quick 1 point scalp. It looked like it would have worked. Pushes down, kind of starts reversing back up. It looked like it was a spike and a channel, but this isn't very clean. This looks a little choppy. You do have a new low, first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short here. It's engulfing, but it didn't break below. So I guess you could say potentially there might be a trade here because it is a spike in a channel. So it's a first entry short, pullback, second entry short, enough for a clean 1 point scalp. But in all honesty, I wasn't really 100% sure. If this had ticked below this guy, then I think I would have considered taking a trade, but it kind of matched it. Maybe that's good enough. It was maybe within this yellow shallow channel here that you could expect at least a quick 1 point scalp before you see a potential bounce here. And by the time this subsequent follow through bar confirms your second entry short, it's too late to try to take a trade here because now you're running into the possibility of an EMA bounce. Then it reverses up, gets a little choppy, flushes back down, break of this purple down channel, test the low, kind of consolidates. It looks a little noisy. You do have a new high here. It's a first entry long pullback. Technically, you have a second entry long made here, but it looks better, cleaner as a visual first entry, pullback second entry. But it feels like there's, other than this localized support, there's no clean justification to take this trade. I did have this drawn earlier, something like this, but there's no other confirmation. There's no like third bounce earlier today. So I had to wait to see if something like this price action would come back, bounce off this predicted support area. Here you could say it's probably your triple test right here. It's a good signal bar, but here I didn't like that it was no room to the EMA, and it created a new low. So you really only have a first entry long. So that's a little early in my opinion to consider it a setup. Then it flushes down. I saw this and I was thinking, I'm in a range. It looks like a strong push down. In real time, I saw a strong push down, was tempted to chase momentum, but this could be a support area. It could be a bounce point. It doesn't feel that safe. It didn't break decisively through, but here it does. Then pushes down, kind of reverses back up. I'm thinking I might be in this transparent red down channel. It's a break of this red up channel, made a tested the high, came back, made a second attempt, and flushed down. I thought this is actually a second entry short because it kind of has a one touch, two touch, three touch, 4, 5 fail breakout. Kind of confirms somewhat pretty well at the bottom. So I thought taking a trade here might actually be a profitable trade because you have a new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short, move one tick above, and then flush strongly, engulfing and closed at the low. So this is, I think, a possible trade right here. Then it pushes back up. There's an EMA rejection right here and a decent signal bar. So this is, I think, a second chance to try to go short because there's enough room to the lows. Prices then continue moving, hits the low, kind of starts reversing back up. The new low, first entry short, second entry short reversal. When I see this, I'm looking for a higher low because it's like a first entry short, second entry short failure. But I want to be really sure because it tick below and reverse back up. I want to see a higher low above the EMA, or ideally a bounce off the EMA or a bounce off this orange up channel. You get your higher low here, but you don't know it's going to be a higher low and doesn't look that safe. So you wait, as I did. It doesn't go below this guy and it starts reversing. So your higher low was here, but it's not a safe bar to enter on. And by the time this one closes, I don't know that it might get a rejection off this developing orange up channel. So I had to leave it alone. It does push up, kind of comes back down. It touches and it reverses back up. So now it's looking like these could have been possible entries, but I don't know it at the time because the setup just didn't see very apparent to me. Pushes up, kind of hits a sideways consolidation. You have a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long is a doji. EMA may or may not be holding, so I needed a body here, ideally with a close at the high and green, but I don't get that. You get a higher low here, but again, I'm thinking I'm in a range, so by the time it pushes up and pulls back down, I'm not ready to go long here. It looks like the trade has already been made, but it isn't even a good clean setup. Chops, it gets really spindly. I'm not a big fan of this. Pushes back down, kind of hits sideways consolidation again, a lot of wicks, plus we're entering the last 10 minutes of the day, and it kind of pushes down into the close. So overall, I took 2 trades. I would admit the 2 trades weren't the best, especially the first one was very iffy. Second one was a little aggressive. This first one I have to be very careful on because I kind of took a very risky setup and I got rewarded for it. In all honesty, it probably could have been a losing trade. And then the second one, I had to sit through some heat because it wasn't a very good entry. So both trades I'm not particularly proud of. And this one has a better justification for us entry than this one for sure, especially after this big spike. I should have known to stay out of it because something, whether the news was announced in the newswire or not, something created this spike and correction. So this is something I should be more cognizant of and just be more careful to just know, hey, this is something that weird that happened. I need to stay out. But it was two trades, two profitable trades for the day. Kind of happy with that because I wasn't able to trade yesterday or today, or even get to my desk to kind of do a good chart review. So, but I do know when things like that happen, I'm more prone to jump in on a trade to, I guess, kind of mentally feel like I need to catch up, whether since there was no trade, nothing that I did, I felt like I needed to justify today by taking some trades, which is a dangerous mental path to go down because that ends up with me inventing setups or inventing trades or seeing something there that isn't. So I do know that's a bad habit of mine that I need to work on. So definitely gonna have to put that in the notes. Hopefully that was helpful.